In the assignment, I said you have been given a task by your manager to remove duplicate columns from CSV file of UK data updates duplicate.csv so that the file should give same result in UK data updated.csv. And I forwarded the two CSV files to you. Write a Python script to undo this. So in this case, it doesn't have anything to do with sets. It doesn't have anything to do with sets. It has something to do more with
lock.
With understanding the columns. Okay, let me give you an example now. Maybe we can do it together. Let's see. Maybe I'll give you another assignment if I do this. Yeah. So give me 1 second. Let me get the CSV file ready. I'll stop sharing my screen now. And we pause.
You've given us an extra week, sir.
Don't worry. Okay. So if you look at this notebook, so we are expected to, let me share my, okay. Now, you see, you've been given a task by your manager to remove duplicate columns from this. So this file, so that the file should give same results in this. So I'll copy this one, put it here as test. I'll delete this. So this is the assignments. Okay. Okay, solution now. So we have our solution. So how do we solve this? Okay. So let's go to the next line, solution. Now, the first thing we need to do is that because we want to read our CSV, we do import pandas as PD. Before we do that, let's just leave import pandas as PD. Let's do import pandas as PD. Okay, that's that. If we run that, okay, let me see if I'm using, okay, good. So import pandas as PD. So I want to, like the question you asked the other time. So I want to upload my file from download, updated. Let me see, updated. What's the name of that file? Let me do 1 second. Let me check the name again. Remember the name? UK updated data CSV. So we're going to upload this file and we upload the other one to UK updated. Okay, so I'll upload this one. Look for the file here. Yeah, we have the file here. I've uploaded it. Can you see? So I'm going to upload the other one also, which is the correct one. So we're interested in this updated without duplicates. Dots. Without duplicate, this one. So we're interested. I've uploaded the two files now. So let's see, we want to read this one. This is what we're expecting. Copy path. We have import pandas as PD, and we can go to the next line. Let's see our data frame, actual results. Let me say actual data frame equals to pd.read underscore CSV. I cover all this, so it shouldn't be string to you. Then I'll pass in that file part, right? So I can do this and run, then do actual df this, saying I should use .ed, but that will give you the column. Can you see? Can you see? So we can run our data frame. This is what I'm expecting, right?
Okay, sir.
This is the result.
Can
you see? This is the result. This is, oh, no, this is not the result. This is the duplicate, right? It's got this. So let me run duplicate updated. 1 second. Let me copy this. I think I amended this stuff. 1 second. Let me check this one. Okay. Okay. So this is the, so they are the same. So What I'm expecting you, I expected you to, if you see LA name is here, right? LA code is here.
Yes.
This one is there. This one is there. This one is there. But I don't want this to appear. I don't want all this to appear. I want this one to be removed from the data without deleting manually. And that was that was the ask. So in this case, we have this, we have data frame. And this from our data frame, we can do the column. Okay. Okay, so it's giving us column, right? So this is what we have. So I can do for I in df dot columns. Okay, let me accept that person. For I in df dot column, print. Oops. For I, oops.
The I is not there.
Oh, sorry. Oh, the I is not there. Sorry, that was the error. So let's do for I in df.column print I. Let's see our I. So this is our I, right? Can you see our I?
Yeah.
So that means those are the columns, right? Headers. So now, meaning that we are able to use conditional, you remember the for loop. So use it to loop through and get a column. So what we are trying to do now is we need to set a condition that, okay, now if for I, and we know the columns that we are expecting, right? Let's add.
I've got to this stage, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say for I in the column, we give you this. Copy selection. It should give you this. Oops, sorry. My bad. So it should give you this. So I will comment this out for you to know what we're expecting. So we're expecting this, right, as a result. So we want to exclude. So the next part is to exclude. So exclude. So let's run this. Oops. What's happening? Okay, I understand now. So we want to exclude. So I'll comment this out because it's a comment, right? Exclude this, right?
Yeah.
Exclude this, comma this, comma this, comma this from data frame. So we want to exclude this from data frame, right? So let me already, this is we have this as the columns, which is good. So we want to exclude this from data from the data frame. So the next thing to do is for I in this, right? Let's do next line. Sorry, I'll put it here. So we want to exclude this from this. So already we're printing high. So we can set a condition if I in, right, in a list, pandas. So we have the list. Okay, so I think we can do it this way. Now I've got the error now. So the error is, what we have to do is that we don't need this, right? So it's expecting us to pass in delete file directly. If you see this code here, can you see that? We're passing in, let's see our results. Drop columns, okay, drop columns, where are we? Okay, assignment, drop columns. Okay, so let's take this off. Let's do, okay, okay, yeah. So I think this is what it's expecting us to do, drop column. Okay, this is perfect now. Can you see? So it's expecting us not to add it as we shouldn't do for loop. Does that make sense? So it's expecting us not to do for loop, but pass it directly. Let me do dot columns now. Let's see what we have. Okay, so I know the reason why we have that. It's not a problem. So we leave concat df equals to pd dot concat empty underscore list. So let's run this one, then pass in concat df to this. That's it. Let's do it. Yeah, that's perfect now. Can you see? Is that clear now? So we have early underscore name this. So this is what we're expecting. And if we print directly, we can see the results. Is that clear now? So
Let's
instead of us
run
looping
it,
through,
sir.
you don't need to loop. Okay, let me explain again. So the mistake we made was that I was looping through this. It's not necessary we loop, right? So we don't need to loop. We just need to create what we want to delete as a list, and it will delete it. So we created that as a list like this, right? And then after doing that, so after doing that, then I pass it in into function drop here, right? And I added this and I appended it. So after appending, that's not the final stage you have to do. So the append means you are creating an empty list here. Let me say empty df. Let me change it to empty df so that it will know empty df. So we are creating an empty list here. After dropping that, we are now passing that what we have dropped, we pass it to that empty list, DFF, we pass it to empty list. Then we concatenate to have it as a data frame. Because if we don't concatenate here, it will not give us a proper data frame, which that was why, if you see here, that was why I got error. If I do empty df here, if I put it and I run this, you will see I will not get, oh, okay, I'm still getting results. So, which is still okay. But you can concatenate in case you have more data. So you can use this one, it will still give you the same results, and that's how it works. Create a list, drop it from the list. Alternatively, you could do it this way. What's our columns? df.columns. Let's check df.columns here. Let me do another one. So if you don't want to do it this way, you should be able to do it in another way. Like we have our this, then we can do actual underscore df dot columns, right? If we print that, oh, actual. So actual underscore df dot columns, let's say we're commenting this out first. So if we print this one, we know this is our actual df underscore column. And let's see the arrangement. This is not the proper way because the column might actually change. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 5. 5. 5. So we have 5. We have 5. Okay. So we have 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're interested in this and not the other one. So if it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so if we capture only only 2, 5. Okay, so young people, adults. Can you see that? Okay, so we have this, and let's try our actual df now. Actual underscore df. You don't need to do dot from, just two points. Okay. So what we're trying to do here is to exclude, remember the dot columns, right, that I covered. Remember slicing? Do you still remember slicing?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Brilliant.
sir.
So if we apply slicing, what we're trying to do is that in this case, we have more columns, right? But we are not interested in this based on the arrangement. But this is not the proper way. But in the case, if the arrangements, maybe if it change, if the arrangement changes, so that will be a problem. But in case if it doesn't change, we can use this slicing to pick the file, right? To select the columns. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, I can do column what? 5. So if I do column 5, I can capture only what?
5.
This. So let me do something interesting. Okay, there's an error there. Yeah, that's the reason. So we can actually select only those columns. Now let's see how to select in pandas so that you know. Please make this your friend select columns in Panda. It might not give you direct results, but let's see. So select columns in Panda. Let's have a look now together. Can you see? It's saying select iLook. So if you want to select column, you can do iLook, right? And pass in the column that you're interested in. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if you want to use okay. Let's see if we want to use the format that we use now. So let's say we want to do that. So to do that, it should be very easy. That should give us 1 second. So we have our df, so we can do df equals to actual underscore df, and that should give us our result. I think so. Let's try our results. Can you see? Does that make sense? Is that clear? You remember our slicing? Slicing helps you to reduce. If you remember slicing, if you go back to that topic, what I'm trying to do is that I'm using this actual data frame, right? If you go to the example that I showed you here, I said data frame and I pass in the columns, right? So this column name and comma city is same as you are using slicing, right? If I print this one, it will give you results. Let me do, oops, sorry. Let me go back here. Let me do print F columns here. Can you see? Let me print this out now without printing data frame. Let me say I'm hiding the data frame. And if I run this one, we should have columns here are. Can you see the columns? Is it different from what you have here? Is there any different there? Is it different? Yes or no? Anyone? What you have here as a list, is it different from when we are trying to select a columns here? By using, is it difficult? Okay, can you see this df.columns? I've shown you this before.
Yes.
It's same as you are writing columns this way. So what I just did was I created the data frame, our data frame itself from here. You know, I'm giving you second example. This is the first example we did. And I say you can do it in another way. I say you can do it this way by using slicing, by passing in columns and using slicing start to what end. And the end is 5 in this case. So, and I said, you can now use this one to select only columns that you want. And I showed you an example that when you run this statement, it's equivalent to you are selecting column. Can you see a list? The same list here, right? So we are passing this in to data frame just like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Here, right? Can you see? Actual
Yes.
df. Then instead of writing name and city, I just said actual df columns inside. And this actual df column is this. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's so easy. You can use slicing. So I've shown you this example now. You can use this example and you can use this other example.
Can we also use dictionary like key and value and drop in the key, which is column?
That makes sense. You are right. You are right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I think that should also be applicable. Delete, but I will advise stick to this method.
Okay.
But try that method if it's going to work from your head. But I'm very sure it's going to work because I gave that example last time. Yes,
yeah.
I gave an example that you use there, right?
To drop columns, yeah.
Drop columns. Yes, drop
Right.
columns. So please try it from your head if it's going to work. And this is what I was expecting you to do in that assignment. So, but me, I will advise, if I want to advise, I will advise you to use this one because, and the reason is because, what if the position of this is moved to as first one in the data? Is that clear? You understand now?
Yes.
Let's say in our file, sorry, ignore that. Let me do quick updated duplicate, right?
Yep.
Okay, look at this data now. Can you see it's well arranged?
Yes.
Now, in case, what if this is moved to here? You know, to mess things up if we are using column to select.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You understand? If this, let me insert columns now. Let's say in this column now, let's say we copy this one, we cut it, and we move to this. Can you see? The position has changed, right?
Yes.
And if we use column to pick, it will automatically pick what? It will pick the one that we don't need.
Okay.
Because we are using this. If we use this one, it will automatically what? Pick this, this, and this.
Yeah,
And we
the
don't
sizing.
need this.
This and this.
I don't know if I'm making sense now.
Yeah.
So automatically, the one that you need will not be picked. So I will advise that you should try as much as possible to avoid this method if you are not sure that the data will have irregular columns, right?
Yeah.
As in, if it's changing, if it's dynamic, if the columns are moving all around, but maybe they are constant, don't use this. But if the columns are moving all around and they are constant, you can use it to drop it wherever position they have. They will give you the same result, but this one, in case we have dynamic columns, it will give you error. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Brilliant. So now that's the solution. But in the case, let's say, for example, you have data flowing, a correct data, and sometimes data with additional columns. You can play around this data, whatever you have here. Let's say, for example, do we have any question? I don't want to be the only one talking. Do you have any question? Let me take this off. It's not necessary. It's too long.
Hello, sir.
Hello?
I'm sorry to take us back, but for some of us who are rookies, everything is still seeming like Arabic. So I know a lot of people are not talking about. I feel that if we can, the first one we did where we had the error, I think someone mentioned earlier, if you could run us through it, just so that we know that these are the sense, because it got confusing at a point, and we are kind of lost. Well, let me say for me.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
did anybody understand this to take us through? Maybe I didn't take time to explain better. Do you mind if you could, maybe anyone can volunteer, explain what, maybe in a simpler way, explain, can anyone volunteer to take us through? Okay, let me go back. Okay. Updated duplicate data. This is the data. Let me revert it back. Okay. This is the data we're using, right? If you look at this data, let me highlight the column. Can you see the headers, right? The header is
Yeah.
here. LA name, this and this. And this header, we don't want this. It's like if you look at LA code, is repeated here, right?
Yes.
Middle age is repeated here. This column, children is well. Is it repeated?
Yes.
No.
Let
No.
me see.
Children
No.
is not.
No.
Brilliant.
Children is not repeated.
It's not repeated. So let me auto fit. Auto fit. Okay. So if you see children is not repeated, which means it's okay. Young people, is it repeated?
Nah.
No.
Adult is repeated. So automatically we don't need this, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is our focus. So we are focusing on what we need, but we are dropping what we don't need. Does that make sense now? So in
Yes,
this
sir.
case, in this data, we are interested in this, but we are dropping all this. So if I
Yes.
want to do it like Excel manually, I'll just click on right click,
Delete.
right,
Yeah.
and do delete, and it's gone.
Mhm.
But in code, because we are not doing, we can, mostly when you're automating file, you can't see the file you're automating. You want to emphasize, you want to plan ahead that even when you're not there, your code is checking that, oh, this is what I should see,
Yeah.
and should delete. So this one brings us back to our revert it back. So this is what we're expecting, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is what brings us back to this code. So
Yeah.
this code now, this is the file I just showed you, the same file. And I said, we are not interested. We don't need this. This is what we should delete. That's why I said delete
Okay.
list.
Delete list.
So that delete list, I now said this delete list, we don't even need this. I don't think we need, can even read the data frame directly. Yeah. This delete list, I now created that list, right? Remember the name? Remember the name here. If I revert it back,
Yes.
LA underscore code 2. Let's move side by side. LA underscore code 2. Oh, it's not okay. Good. This what we're planning to delete this now. LA underscore code 2, middle age underscore 2, LA underscore code 2, LA underscore code 3, adults 1. So we want to delete all this. And how do we do that? We create a list of the names, right? We have the list and we pass it to actual drop delete, just like here, delete. Well, we are doing that manually, but here in this case, we want our code to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that clear now?
Yes,
We're
sir.
now
Very
passing
clear.
this, then use this one, just like we are clicking on our button, delete. So this one will do it for us as a function. Pass the delete list to that, and that will delete.
Okay.
So you remember I said, I don't need that append. It's not necessary because we are deleting from data frame directly. So this will still give us our answer.
Okay. Okay.
Is that clear now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
It's straightforward.
It's
Hello,
straightforward.
sir.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, the DFF, the last thing, that axis is called equal 1. That one is not clear to me.
Okay, it's part of the function. Let me see if I delete this one. This should give us the same. Can you see it's giving us an answer? It's part of what is required for Python. Can you see as is equals to 1? So pass it in and you get your results. Please, I will
Okay.
advise, don't focus on, can you see that at a point, I got it a bit wrong, right? And I went back and I fixed it. Do the same thing. That's how to learn. You know, I've done this several times, but I forgot one part. You understand? So
Yes.
it can happen, but the ability to quickly go back and, you know, fix things, that is very, very important. Can you see we're getting the data? Now,
Yeah,
going
I
back
think
to the second one.
the Panda library helped.
Yes, the Panda library, Pandas as PD. So you need
Yeah.
that. So for the second one, I now say the second one, I explained slicing to you. I said this slicing, that slicing will only help you to capture the columns that you need, right? And I said, let me comment this out now. I said this will help you to capture only columns, LA name, LA code, the first 4 columns. Is it first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? First 5 columns. So let's put it side by side so that you understand what I was trying to say. So let's say we are not deleting this now, right? We are reverting it back. So here, this will help us to capture only this and we will get the same result, right? Instead of using delete. So it will just go through this one as 0 index. Remember your Python index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 will only capture that, right? And it will ignore the rest because this one is 6. And that was why I said 0, 5, right? So you can put 0 here, right? Or you can exclude 0. It's still the same thing. And it will capture only this. And if it captures that, it will give you the same result. I said there is a limitation to this. The limitation is that what if your data, let's say when someone uploaded out data, the person mistakenly moved this column
To another place.
to another place. Let me do insert copied cell. Can you see?
Yeah.
And this, can you see? So
Yes.
middle age is now the first one instead of this. If you use that column slicing, what will happen? It will pick this one as 0, 1,
Yes.
2, 3,
3,
4,
4,
5. And what are you going to miss?
Adults.
You miss adults.
Yes.
Is that clear now?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you are using your code, be careful when to use what. In the case that you know that the columns will be constant, you can apply that slicing. But if you know that in the future, maybe the stakeholder might just decide to change the column, don't use that.
Sir. All right, got you.
2 solutions, but you apply it differently. They will give you the same result, but the approach, you have to understand the approach in this case. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good. So now we've been able to sort the assignment. It's so easy, but it's simple, but it took us, I didn't know why here, but that code should be right, but I think I shouldn't have looped through this particular line. I should just pass in the column directly, and that should give us the results. So that's that. Any question? Is that clear now? Did I explain better now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So we've sorted the assignment. That one is gone. Let's go back to our class. I think we don't have much time today. We have like 40 minutes more, if I'm correct. So let's go back. We've covered this last week. What else? We've covered, I think we did loop and iteration, right? Okay, we stopped here last week. We did, mark, right? We did for loop, conditional statement, else if, and I gave you an example of this. I said to make it more simpler for weekdays, instead of using this code, you can use this, and somebody was like, okay, is it not better for us to stick to simpler one? And I say, okay, that's good. But as you're growing as a data engineer or data analyst, you get used to another format. And so, and yes, so we covered that
Easy.
one.
Come and get me my phone.
Sorry, can you unmute you? Can
My-
you mute yourself, please?
Oh.
Please, because we are actually uploading this video to public place, please, as much as possible, if you are doing something, just try and mute yourself. Thank you. So now let's continue. So I've shown you that example of CSV. Okay, so we've covered conditional statements. So let's go to loop and iteration. Loop and iteration, we've already even covered loop and iteration, and I gave you an example how to loop. Oh, we covered that last week. I think we did a bit. And I showed you how to use this and how to use list comprehension. For list comprehension, I said, let's say we have a list and we loop through that list and we can do this. Or alternatively, we can use this one and, pass it in. And that will also work. That will give us the results. So that will give us our results. And okay, so that will give us our results. So that's that. So let's go on. Did I cover this yesterday? Okay, I did this. I think I covered this. 1 second. Let me do. Okay. So let's go to this. Let's start with this today. So you're familiar with lists. I've covered for loops several times. I covered it last week and other weeks. And we have, let's say, for example, we're talking about, we want to do loop now. For loop, we're talking about for loop. So whenever you see for I in high, they call it for loop. So it's categorized under loop and iteration. For loop, that means we're checking elements in that list, elements in that list, elements in that list. So we're checking that element in that list. And in that case, we're looping through, like we can use I here, right? For I in friends, then print I. Pass that in, and we have I Akin, I Julie, I Ali, I Benjamin, I this, I this. You can do that and you get your results. And don't forget, you can use this one. You can use something like this, similar stuff to create email, right? You can use to send email to people. You can use your Python to send email to people. So I've used Python to send email to like almost 10,000. Oh, is it 10,000? Don't let me say. I think like 1,000 people just once, and Python will do it. So all I did was I have a list like the CSV, and maybe we have names here and emails. I have emails here. Let's say, let me give an example. Let's say this is client's name. And we have maybe email address, right? Email address. And let's say you are okay. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are working in an organization where you have operational services. They have to like send email, and let's say they want to produce a maybe credit card. They want to give people credit card, and they have to get information about them to decide what to give them. In this case, they will get information for, like, let's say you'll be working, in that case, you'll be working with data scientists that will do some prediction, or that will say, okay, based on what I've already, information that I've gotten about the person, family name, the employment, salary rates, married or single, some other things like that, number of years you have stayed in a place where you have rented, or your mortgage, they use those things to predict. So when those prediction is done, let's say you have the client's name here, added their emails, and the amount of credit card they want to send. You can automate the process that when the prediction is done, your name, emails are generated, clients' names are here, and you have the amount to do this. Then you just loop through this, send email to them that, oh, congratulations, you have been granted so amount of money. You should be expecting so in the way. So you don't expect the emails to be sent to individual, right? Imagine you have a corporate organization dealing with 1 million people, and they have to give them credit cards. You don't expect them to send email directly. So they will automate the whole process by saying, okay, prediction is done by data scientists, name of clients, we have them, their emails, the amount to be credited, then it will just automate the process. Email will be sent to them, and the card will be processed. So another email will be forwarded to maybe the operational team, the operation team, that we now start creating their credit card, and say your credit card will be on the way in the next 5 minutes, in the next 5 days. Does that make sense? So you can automate the whole process using Python. So you can use Python to, do transformation, cleaning, predictive analysis for data scientists, get those data, and write another Python to generate email and send email to clients immediately, and to customers immediately. So it's Python is very, very powerful. It's, I would say, just try as much as possible to develop yourself in this space, and you'll be happy that you did. Okay, so let's go on. So I've given an example of, I, friend, this and that. So for I in this, so it's going to loop that through that, like the file that I showed you. For I in client's name, so it's going to check if client name is this, pick the client name. If email is this, pick the email, then send email to the user. Good. So that one is sorted. So you can see an example. I printed this. I said, I this, and I did this. So let's go to the next one, for loop. Let's say, for example, we have words. We want to print words now. So in this word, we have vowel underscore count equals to 0. Vowel underscore count equals to 0. We are counting from 0. I will explain this very well so that it will be clear. So we have our words here. Wherever we put here will be looped. We're going to loop through it. Then if word is equal to A, if is this, is going to print it out. It's going to count. So this 0 means we are initializing the start of the journey of the code to start from 0. So this code is going to start from 0. So then we are adding 1, 1, 1. When you see plus this, is 1, 1, 1. Or sometimes you can do equals vowel underscore count, underscore count plus 1. So it's either you use this type, meaning that the first initial value is 0. So it's going to do 0 plus 1. Then if it's 1, it's going to add to that 1. 1 plus 1 again, 2. So if this one is 1, remember initially it was 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So this one has turned to 1. Another one we have to 1 be 2. Another one we add to 2 be 3. Another one we add to 3 is going to be what? 4. So you can use this or you use this. They will give you the same results. So let's run this one. Let's say, can someone suggest what I should add here? I should enter. Can someone suggest for me? Anyone?
I use elephant, please.
Sorry?
I said elephant.
Elephant. Okay, so let's see. Elephants, enter. So from elephant, we're getting E, E, and A. So what's happening here is that this is looping through elephant. Let me do. Let's print elephant. Then let's print elephants. Right. Okay. So I just want to want us to see what's happening here. Let me comment this out. Elephants. So if we are using elephants, enter. Okay. So for word in these elephant letters are okay. Sorry, because I'm using words instead of word. So that's why we have this printed. So it's going to change now. So elephants. Can you see? So it's saying elephants are, letters are E, L, E. Can you see it's looping? That's what the looping is doing. It's scrapping them one after the other. Elephant. Can you see L, E, F, fan? So it's taking this E, is sending it to this. It's checking with what we have here. So if E is equal to capital A, is it equal to capital A? No. Is that correct? It's not, right? Is E equal to A, uppercase A?
No.
No. Is E equals to this?
No.
Is E equal to this?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Is it equal? No.
Because it's uppercase and this
Yeah,
is
it's
lowercase.
uppercase, yeah.
Is E equals to this?
Yes.
Yes. Is E
Yeah.
equals to this? No.
No.
So we are setting a condition or anyone, either anyone. You should just check if that condition is fulfilled there. And if that
Okay.
condition is fulfilled, add 1.
Okay.
So the next one, E, there's no hell here, right? Elephant is not, so it's going to loop, exclude that one, right? So what do we have here? E, 1, right? Another one, 2, right?
Yeah.
Do we have A there? 3? Is that
Yes,
correct?
3.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we have any other one? No, right?
No.
So what do you think our count should be?
3.
3.
3, because we only have E, A, and this inside here. So it's going to count those 3 and it will generate our answer. Let's print it out. Elephants. If we are using elephants. So let me comment this out so that we can see our proper result, because remember I printed that out the other time for us to see results. So I will do elephants. I'll copy. I will run this one again. I will do this. Can you see? E,
Yeah.
E, A. So it's counting it. It sees the first one, it said +1, right? Second one, +2. Third one, +3. So like I said the other time, we can use this same method, right? That vowel plus what? 1. It will still give you the same result. Let's see. Elephant. Is it giving us the same result? So it's either you use this line or use equals to what? This. Does that make sense? Any question here? Oh, think I made a mistake there. Yeah, this. Any question at all?
Yeah, in the if word equals capital A and small a, at the last part of it, you use hand because why do you have the hand there?
Which one?
Where we have if word equals capital A.
Oh, this.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Hand.
Thank you for asking that question. The reason why I have it there was to arrange it this way, to help us align it this way. If I remove this end now, let's see the results. Let's see if it's going to give us elephants. Can you see? Can you see the arrangements?
Yeah, I can see.
Yes. So that's the reason. So this will help us to put them all together in one line. Elephants. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any question again?
Sorry, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry to ask this again. But I just want to know the application of the counting of words to actual job or writing of Python codes. What exactly is what are we trying to achieve by counting words?
Okay, what we're trying to achieve by counting words. That's a very good question. I think that's a very good question. Good. I love that question. I would say, for example, let's say you want to create a new column, right? You want to create a new column, and for that column, you're counting rows, right? Let's say, let me give an example here. Look at this data now. Let me delete this. I don't want to delete. Let me do this. So look at this. Look at this data. Let's say, for example, you have data like this. You might want to create additional column to know the arrangements, right? Let's say filter by ascending. Can you see the arrangement? You've set your order, right? Maybe you are trying to do alphabetical order based on the arrangement here, and we have it here. You're trying to add maybe, for example, you want to start this one as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7 by rows, by counting the rows, right? So by counting these rows, you want to create another columns to identify them by number. 8, 9, 10, 11. So you understand? Let's say you have 1 million records and you want to do it. You can't be typing, right? You can't be doing it manually. So you have to write a code, something similar to this. You understand? That will be doing the counting for you. So we initialize the first one as this, and then you count one after the other. When it sees rows, it will be counting it, first row, second row, third row, and it will be doing addition. Then it will create a separate column. You understand? So you majorly use it for, I would say, you can use it to count. You can use it to maybe add additional columns to show numbers, right? Or, for example, you can use it to count for columns like this now. You can use it to count. It's not necessary. You can, in this case, you can use length. And this is another example. You remember the length I told you about?
Yeah.
You can use to just so length of this, and it will count. It will check 1, 2, 3, 4. So, but in this case, it's different. So for that one, you can use it to create numbers, right? And you had it here directly. Create maybe in form of index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as part of your data. So it's very, very, very useful. Any question again? Okay, let's move on. So we sorted that. So here we are initializing this to 10. We're setting the by default should be 10, right? And we are saying why. So remember I was talking about loop and iteration. So we've covered for loop. Here we are covering while loop. Something called while loop. So we have for loop, why. So why is a way of asking question to know what you want what you want to do. Is like you're setting a condition that if this condition is fulfilled, just like the for loop. You know, for loop is looping, but why is checking? It's checking a condition. So for example, we are setting total as 10 here as a number, and we are saying why total is greater than 0. Is our total greater than 0? Yeah, it's greater than 1, 0 because it's 10. So check if it's greater. Can you mute yourself, please? Someone is talking and I can hear from the background. Now, if you look at this, greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0. So I said print total. Then if it's that, then can you keep removing 1, 1 from it? So what this is doing is that when it's 10 and it's greater than 0, right? That means 10 is greater than 0. Passing 10 here and do 10 minus 1, right? And that will be 9. So the next value will be 9, and the next one will be 9 minus 1 again equals to 8. Then you do again 8 minus 1, and that will be 7. And again 7 minus 1 until you get to the last one. Does that make sense? That is what this code is doing. Remember the total plus 1. So if I do plus 1 now, I don't want to use plus 1 because it will count to infinity and that will occupy our memory. I don't want to do that. So now let's run this now. Let's see. So we're now saying if y total is greater than 0, it should print. Can you see? Immediately say it gets to 1 minus 1 is 0. Can you see that total is greater than or equal to 0, right? It's fulfilled here. So 0 minus 1 is what? Minus 1. That means it's what? It's less than 0. So if it's less than 0, go out of loop. Meaning that when you use this one, you say out of loop. Anything inside here will be fulfilled. Anything outside here, which is this, it means is else. So this is another way of saying else if. Does that make sense? So instead of you to use if this is this, else. But we are now saying why this is this, do this, and go outside it and print your results if it's not. So it's like it's similar to if and else, if and else. So mostly we use this one in our data. For example, let's go back to our pandas data frame so that you can see an example. We have PD. Okay, let's do. Okay, let's go part. Okay, let me just do df equals to pd, right? The read CSV. The read CSV, and what's our CSV? Let's look for this CSV, right? Oh, the CSV is gone. Okay. Okay, let's do it this way. I will create another CSV file from this. Oops. Okay. 1 second. Oh, made a mistake. Okay. Okay, look at this. This is CSV, right? I will save this CSV file as. Let's not save it. Okay, download. There's the empty file. Empty file, right? Let's say this is CSV empty file, right? Don't forget, I call it empty file. And this one is up to date. Okay. So let me up, quick, download empty file, and okay. So we have empty file, and we have up to date. So empty file, copy file. So let's do this is our empty file on the right. Okay, so here, because we didn't mention import pandas as PD, pandas as PD, so PD is not defined. So let's do that. Oops, so saying, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, good. I love that. Yeah, so that brings me back to this. Copy this. Okay. So we have this as empty file, right? So empty file. So I'm going to take this empty file off. Upload new one because I've added column. Empty file. Good. So let's run this now. Can you see? So now let's say let's say why 1 second. I want to use okay. So we can use 1 second. Okay, let's do check. Data frame rows. Okay. So oh yes, brilliant. So let's go back. So now we have, where am I? Okay, so I was explaining this. So let's say y df learn. No, I won't use, okay. 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Print. . Okay, can you see? It's saying the length is 0, right? This is what I want to get. So let's say y length is greater than 0. We can print df. Otherwise, print data not available. Can you see? Can you see example? If you look at this, our data frame here, if we print data frame df, look at it. Do we have data there? Do we have data? Remember,
Is it an empty file?
it's an empty file because I name it as empty file, right? With
Yes,
only
sir.
columns.
Yes.
Now, I think you're understanding why we're using that now. I'm making it more practical as much as possible so that you understand what we're doing. So now look at this. LA name, no data there. We don't have values, no data. And we are reading it. After reading it, we are checking if it's empty or not. So YDF is greater than 0 if it's not empty, meaning that if there is data. You know, it's cutting by rows. 0, 1, 2. So it can't see anything here is 0.
Mm.
So if it sees data, it should print. But because it's not seeing data, it should do data not available. And in this case, you can use this one to catch error and send message to developers that, oh, data has not been uploaded automatically. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see how we're using why? What we are setting now? So from here, you see when I try to check I read the data frame, it's empty.
Yes.
Good. So can you see? So this is how we use it in a practical way. So let's say, for example, now let's go back to here. Let's say we are importing the other one with file. Let's see the results. Now this one has got the data, right? Let's pass it in here. And let's run it. You see, it won't give you the same result. It will print data frame. Now, can you see the data frame? But now, that's not where we're interested. Let's go back to this Y. Let's run Y now. What did you see? Can you see results? Can you see? So it's loading forever because it's going back and checking, and this is going forever. So which we need to stop, right? So I will advise, this is not the best way to read the data. So I will advise you use if, right? Because it's keep checking, and it will be checking, it will be reading, and it will be reading. In that case, it will be checking your file. So far that you have data there, it will keep writing. It will keep generating, it will keep writing. You can have multiple files written. If you are saving it to a CSV file, it will be written several times. So multiple times rather. And in order to avoid that, you can use this. Can you see? Is it looping? Can you see that one is not looping? If it's not looping, but why will loop forever? Does that make sense? So in that case, there is another way you could maybe stop that. So if this is greater than this, right? If this, you can break. Can you see? Did you see what happened? Immediately I apply break. What happened? It stopped. But we're able to generate the result. But if I remove this break now, it will be moving forever. Can you see it's still moving? But immediately if I put this, because Y is trying to check, oh, this data is more than we have more rows. 1 row, 2, 3, 4. It will keep checking and it will be generating results. And that's not what we want in our design. So if you're a data engineer, you write the code like this, you can cause problems. So most of the time, you apply break, and that will stop. It will generate, you check, and it will break. It will check, and it will break. So, but in order not to use this break, you can use if here and do if length is this, print, and if not, this. So if we check this one out, let's pass in the other file that we use, empty file. Let's see the result for if. You see, it's going to give us empty also. It's going to say data not available. Can you see? Data not what? Available, because data is not available because we are out of that condition. So it should print, but if not, data not available. You understand? Yes. So this is how to play around, how to use F statement to, you see, you use this one now. Let's say, for example, you want to transform data as a data engineer. You can first set a condition that if your length is greater than 0, print, and you start doing transformation of your data until you write result. Else, as the last one, right? Just say data not available. Sorry, can you mute yourself, please? If you know you are not saying what is related to what we are teaching here, please. Thank you. So, any questions so far?
I know the if condition comes with else, but it's as if here the else doesn't come into play. Is it always like that?
If you see it, we accounted for else here, but we did it in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah, we did if here, and this one is outside here, which covers else. If I push this one in now, it means that I'm putting this condition under if. Can you see after this column is inside, right? But it's outside, so it will cover that. Is that clear now? Okay. Remember, I was talking about break. So you see, this is an example of break statement. So I have already used break statements, and you can use break statements in this case also. If you are checking this column, this list, and you are doing for this in this, and you are doing if I divided by 4 will give you remainder 2. This is the meaning. This one is like divide by 4, remainder what? 2. Remainder 2, not the division will be. So this percentage in Python is like you are checking a remainder. You're checking that if you use 1, 12 divided by 4, does it remain 2? No, right? If it's 16 divided by 4, does it remain 2? It does yeah. Does it remain 2? No. And that's it. Okay. So okay, let me see. Let me see the results. Yeah. So print I. So it's giving us, I'm coming 4 divided by, okay, 2. Print I. Oh, okay. Okay. So it's printing I directly. Okay. So anyway, it sees that, okay. For example, we have 12, 16, 24, right? 18 divided by 4. And 4 divided by 18, rather.
That will remain 2.
That's it. That, you see, we got break there. Immediately we got to this level and it sees that, oh, we are getting remainder 2. What happened? You see break. But here we're not getting remainder 2. We are getting remainder 0, remainder 0, remainder 0. Immediately we got here, we got remainder 2. Let me remove this one. Let's see what we are going to have. It got to 25, right? And it sees that 4 divided by 30 is what?
Remainder 2.
28 remainder 2. That's 7, right? 7 remainder 2 and it break. You see? So you use to break to see if that condition is just stop. So in that case, in your data also, you could use it to check your data and quickly catch error. Maybe the stakeholder, maybe they are not expecting a particular data to come in, and you can set a condition that if that file is there, if that particular error is there, break and send email to everybody that, oh, something has happened, so that you can fix it. Is that clear now? So I don't think I need to cover this. So I will cover this one under an exception. I think this will be the end of loop and iteration today. So under an exception helps you to to track any error. Someone is accessing my page. I will find you. Handling an exception helps you to track any error in your data, and you generate an error. You'll be able to catch that error immediately as a bug. So, and why catching by catching the bug using exception, try an exception, it will help you to improve your code in case of future performance so that you make it more efficient. So mostly in our code, when we are looping, you set try and you read the remainder of your code in between, except you catch the error, and if it sees the error, say break, and that's it. So we can see this one now. Let's say in this case now, can you see says something went wrong? Total is says something what went wrong. It stopped. If you see A, something went wrong from B, can you see? Because B is not an integer, right? You see, let me explain what is happening here. This is very interesting. You see, it's looping through this. We have 23.5B, 10, 25C, right? So we set our initial value as 0, right? This is 0. I remember we were talking about we had 1, but in this case, we are not adding 1. We want to add wherever we have from here, one after the other. So for I in this, for 3 in the list, for 5 in the list, for B in the list, please add it to the initial value that you're getting. So we have for I in random lists, which is what I just explained, try print I, we're printing normal I, that's 23 this and that, which you see here. The entry is this, the entry is this. Can you see? And we're now saying that it should add. So the total is what? 20. The first one, 0 plus 20 is 20, right? The next one is what? 20 plus 3. The total is what? 23. 23 plus 5. The total is what? 28, right? And immediately it got to the B. Because B is not an integer, right? The code was able to sense it that no, there's no way to add integer say string to a number. And what happened? Exception was able to catch that to say something went wrong and immediately break. And they said the total value is what? The final result that we have gotten, that is it. So you can use this, like someone asked me the other time, you could also use this to do summation. Use it to do summation in your data. You can see the example there. You can use that, this particular total count and this to do summation. And so does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let me remove this one now. You see, it's not going to fail anymore until it gets to C. So it will add this together. Let's run it. Can you see? It got to 63 because we have removed B. But immediately it got here, it's saying C, entry is C, something went wrong. And the last calculation was 63, and it said the total is what? 63. Is that clear? So and why we were able, how did we manage to stop that? Because we added brake. Brake, we say stop. It's just like you're applying brake in your car. You want to collide with another car in front of you. What do? You press brake. Immediately it sees error C, which is a foreign something. I don't want to use a foreign body. Foreign number or digits in that list. You say, no, this is so foreign, it's different from others. Please stop. Something went wrong. Stop, brake. So that is handling exception. That will help you to catch error in your code. Any questions so far? Yeah, I will stop recording now. I think we've come to the end of the section.